Jackie Robinson established a model for the next generation.
He gave the Bill Whites and the Bob Gibsons and the Curt Floods the path to say this is unacceptable.
Baseball has not moved with the time. When you can be sold like in 1890.
Players had no power.
Jackie's legacy is more than just baseball. What he did for others, that's his legacy.
That was a look at the exciting new History Channel documentary After Jackie, celebrating the unsung heroes in baseball who fought for racial equality.
And joining us now is the film's director, Andre Gaines, and longtime MLB broadcasting veteran Mike Claiborne. Andre, Mike, thank you both for being with us. Andre, I'll start with you because you've said that Jackie Robinson's true legacy is what he did off the field. What are viewers going to find and see?
Well, true. I mean, in the film, what Jackie did for others really is what his legacy is. I mean, breaking the color barrier is probably the least important thing that Jackie Robinson actually did. Most people don't realize he was a very prominent civil rights leader in his retirement. As a matter of fact, Dr. Martin Luther King credits Jackie Robinson for a little bit of a blueprint for what it is that he did in the civil rights movement, because Jackie had reached that national prominence before Dr. King had, long before Dr. King had. And so he sort of provided a path not only for athletes who came after him, but for so many others, especially in the movement itself.
And Mike, let me bring you in here. There are other names we heard in that clip. One of them was Bill White, who some would argue might be, you could argue, the most important person in baseball, maybe after Jackie Robinson. Explain why we don't know his name and why he's so important. Well, a lot of people don't know his name, I should say.
Well, Bill worked behind the scenes, and I think that's one of the reasons why, if you're not involved in baseball, you probably wouldn't know the name or you wouldn't recognize it. But he was the player that everybody went to talk to if they had problems, if you were a person of color, or even some of the Latin players would go to him, because Bill was a guy who was, he saw things well ahead of everyone else. He was a very sharp, shrewd individual, played tough, played hard. He was a good player, but he had the ability to transcend what he was seeing into something that should be action. And when you look back at Bill White, I personally feel like he was the second most influential person past Jackie Robinson, especially when you think about his broadcasting career, what he did as a president of the National League in baseball. And he was just that person that everybody could go to.
And Andre, you did a tremendous amount of research. I understand you sifted through nearly 500 hours of archived MLB footage, some of which has never been seen before. What did you discover?
Well, I mean, no director can ever take all the credit themselves. I had a team of researchers, some incredible story producers, editors. Mike was a walking encyclopedia. You know, one thing that was really interesting to learn is the fact that there were black ball players before Jackie Robinson. So we sort of have, in the late 1800s, 1884, Bud Fowler, Moses Fleetwood Walker. These were black ball players that were part of the major leagues. And a ban, you know, was instituted across the major league to ban black ball players. And that would consume the sport for the next 60 years until Jackie Robinson shows up in 1947. So it's important really for folks to understand that. And the fact that it's on the History Channel, we really get an opportunity to tell an audience that type of information, which was new to me.
And Mike, we have been noticing, certainly in the past couple of years, professional athletes and their activism. But these, and I see on the wall behind you there, you have Muhammad Ali in one of those pictures, and maybe he is one of the ones known to be certainly one of the most famous, but also just his legacy of activism. But was there a blueprint, though, that you see for the current players and what they've done the past couple of years, that maybe some of these black baseball players kind of gave them a blueprint for how to be activists in what they're doing?
You know, I think there's some merit to that. I think that there's enough information available to athletes today because of technology that they can go back and see how people like the baseball players in the 60s dealt with things.
Thank you both for being here, and you can catch After Jackie this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on the History Channel.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.